What's up YouTube, this is Fate coming at you again with another deck profile, and today I am going to be showing you my Chaos Nordic deck. This build was a build that me and my friend came up with a while ago, tested repeatedly, made some tweaks. I ended up luckily getting this build from my friend after a while and made a couple of end of the road tweaks myself, and this build is actually performing extremely well. Tested against heavy hitters such as zombies, dragons, and other monstrous builds, and this build has held its own extremely well. So with that, without further ado, let's get started. Start off the lineup. The main special summoner of the build, Tanngnjostr. Run 3 of him. Whenever a monster gets killed by battle, special summon him in face-up defense. The next turn, switch him to attack mode, and special summon one of your Nordic beast guys. For the other beasts part of the engine, I run 2 Tanngrisnir. When he gets destroyed, special summon 2 tokens. 2 Garmr. When he battles with a level 4 or lower, returns a card. Pretty underrated in my mind. And then to round out the beasts, it's a main tuner, 1 Guldfaxe. If your opponent still plays synchros, you can special summon them out like a Cyber Dragon and combo off that way. For the next section of the deck, I run triple Vanadis of the Nordic Ascendant. Really an underrated tuner in my opinion, especially with this being a Chaos build. Other than using her for all of the Azure synchros later on, and for all of my synchro combos, she has level manipulation. And for the combo plays with the Chaos monsters, I can use her effect, say send a Guldfaxe from the deck to the graveyard to... It only changes her level from a 4 to a 4, but you send your light monster to the graveyard, and she's a dark attribute herself, so when she goes to the graveyard, Chaos plays are already set up turn 1. I also run 2 Valkyrie of the Nordic Ascendant. Just a general level 2 monster. Run plenty of Nordic monsters in here to remove if you get in a pinch. Has definitely bailed me out a few times. For the general monsters, 2 Summoner Monks. Plenty of level 4s in this build, plus you run a decent amount of spells. And 2 Effect Failures. Don't like monster effects being used against me. And for the Chaos engine, run 2 Chaos Sorcerer and 1 BLS, pretty standard in that regard. And because you do not run as much back row support, I do run 1 Gorz, pretty essential and helps turn around the game for you. For the spells, I run triple Pot of Duality. This build does not need to special summon right away, especially with Vanadis setting up your turn 2 play. So if you get this turn 1, it is definitely not a dead draw, it just helps you set up for more advanced plays. For some of the more general spells, triple MST. 1 Mind Control, you run tons of tuners in here. Book of Moon. You know at this point I'm going to run 1 Dark Hole. And since you do run plenty of smaller monsters, and you typically do face bigger things to get over, I run 2 creature swaps. Definitely has made this build, turned around some games for me, and it is fun to go up against zombie players and take control of guys like Diablo here and just create a full-out reversal against your opponent. On to the traps. Kept it somewhat light just because of the heavy spell monster count. 2 Mirror Force, Compulse, 2 Call of the Haunteds, and to round it out, I run triple Glypher Feathers of Fenrir. Granted, this is a rota that takes a full turn before you can even use it, but it's a pretty good card in my mind for Nordics. Helps bait out MSTs and gives you that +1 search deck thin. It's a pretty decent trap overall. It's not the best. I still prefer a Rota for this build, but it has its perks as well. Then on to the extra deck. Obviously heavier in the synchro department, so I run a heavy synchro deck, extra deck again. Level 5 Catastrophe, Level 6 Vulcan, Level 7 Black Rose, pretty standard in my opinion for heavier synchro builds that can bring out those guys. Now on to the level 8s. 1 Stardust Dragon, Stardust Spark Dragon, Thought Ruler Archfiend, Dark Synchro Monster to help fuel some Chaos plays later, plus he's a really good standalone guy himself. Negate things that target him, replenish your health, yada yada. Scrap Dragon, and as a tech choice, 1 Angel of Zera. This is one of the reasons why this build has tested well against dragons of all the builds out there, because gains 100 attack for every monster or every card banished in your opponent's banished pile. And if he's banished himself, say you remove him for your Chaos Sorcerer or your BLS plays, he comes back into the field next standby phase. Definitely a nice recurrent card for this build. For the level 9, Mistworm, I love return power, that should be obvious already. And then for the big level 10 guys, 2 Thors and 2 Odins. Odin is a great go-in for the win monster, especially when they load up on back row and Odin just uses this effect to protect himself and they can't do anything. And Thor is just overall great monster choice, shuts down effect monsters. And just bring him into the camera one more time. Laughs at this guy whenever Thor faces up against him. So Thor is definitely a synchro monster that Zombies does not want to go up against. And then for the level 11 1 Star Eater. And just because I do like that recurrent power in the long run, and I do run play with level 4s, 1 Digestal Emerald. And with that, that is the end of my Chaos Nordic profile. As always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and until next time.